Hello quilters! Welcome back to my channel, Pages and Stitches. My name is Kelly and I'm thrilled you're here with me today. If you are just stopping in after watching my floss tube video, the hair went up. I got hot. So forgive my messy appearance. But it's 104 today, so. Again, my channel name is Pages and Stitches. That's spelled pages, the number 3 stitches. And my Instagram handle is the same, so if you want to follow me here and on Instagram, you can head over there and just look for the same handle. Today's July 31st, Sunday, July 31st, last day of July, and down here in Texas, it is hot. In the last 2.5 months, we've had like 5 days where the high was below 100. And when I say below 100, I mean like 98, 99. For the most part, it's been 100 degrees or higher. Our hottest day was earlier this month. It was 110 degrees with a heat index of like 120. It was a rough day. It was not a good day. Super hot. So August is usually our hottest month, and that starts tomorrow. So far, the forecast has been about the same, roughly around 102 on average. So I'm ready to get August behind me because A, it's really, really hot, and B, I'm moving in August. I'm moving on the 20th, so that's gonna stink. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. I'm very excited that you come back time and again. There's some of you that come back every month. Give me some very nice comments every time I post a video, and don't think I haven't noticed. I recognize your names every time they pop up in my notifications feed. So thank you so much for sticking around and hanging out with me and taking an interest in what I do, because I really enjoy sharing it with you. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm a cross stitcher and a quilter. I make cross stitching videos on floss tube that are just dedicated for cross stitching, and then I make these videos, my Quilters Corner videos, that are dedicated to my quilting projects. So if you have an interest in quilting, if you're just being nosy about what I'm doing or what, I don't care. I'm glad you're here, whatever the reason. So welcome. And if you have any questions about anything I talk about or anything to do with quilting, or anything you see in the video, I will link everything I possibly can down below, and then you can leave your questions in the comments for me as well. So let me start off with my reading update for those of you who are curious. Pages and Stitches refers to my other hobby, which is reading. So let me show you what I read for the month of July. First, I read Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor. She has another series that's one of my all-time favorites, so when she came out with this duology, I knew I had to read it. Then I read These Hollow Vows by Lexi Ryan. Then I read my Ride or Die Regency Romance Queen, Lisa Kleypas, and this is her book Only With Your Love. And currently, I am reading Down the Rabbit Hole by Holly Madison. She is a former girlfriend of Hugh Hefner. And so this is her tell-all about her experience in the mansion. I don't often read nonfiction. I've read a couple of memoirs and autobiographies, but this one I'm just fascinated by. If you don't know, my cat, my black cat, his name is Hef. When I adopted him from the shelter, it was during the heyday of her TV show, which was Girls Next Door, which followed the girlfriends of Hugh Hefner at the time, and I was enthralled by that show, like most people were. And so when she left the mansion and wrote this tell-all about her wild experience and like how it definitely wasn't what the TV show presented, I was just like amazed. I honestly didn't even know she wrote this book. I rewatched the show recently, and then I of course, you know, my FBI agent that's tracking us through the internet recommended this book to me. So I was like, oh yeah, I gotta read that book. And it's pretty fascinating. So this past month I had my 33rd birthday. It was July 2nd. And thank you to everybody who gave me a birthday comment and happy birthday wishes on my YouTube and on my Instagram. That's very kind of you. I really enjoyed my birthday this year. It's low key. I went to dinner with my family. I hung out with some friends. Sorry, like I was saying, for my birthday, it was real low key. And I had a really good time. I had to go pick this little guy up real quick because he was doing something he wasn't supposed to. So you may notice he is wearing a t-shirt. I had a request to show this, and he is wearing an NSYNC t-shirt. NSYNC fan he is. He's very unhappy about it. Well, I'm normally don't leave clothing on my dog unless the weather dictates that he wear an extra layer, or I'm just taking a picture. But he is wearing this shirt today because he's got a hot spot on his belly that he keeps licking. And so in order to avoid putting a cone on him, I just put an NSYNC t-shirt on him. He's an NSYNC fan. In this house, we are NSYNC fans. I'm not saying NSYNC is better than Backstreet Boys, but none of them are on our t-shirts. Just NSYNC. So anyways, here's Milo, but I'm gonna hold him because he keeps trying to lick his hot spot even with the shirt on. So I also announced that I was gonna do a giveaway on my last video for my recent finish, which was this quilt pattern called Cinnamon Toast. So I'm going to pass the stash along to the giveaway winner. There was a couple of people that participated, so thank you to all of you who took an interest or who wanted to potentially win this. And then I'm also including one of 3 project bags that I made and showed on my last video. And so we'll announce that giveaway winner now. But congratulations to Michelle DeBartleben. Excuse me if I say that name wrong. There's a lot of syllables. I don't know where the emphasis is. Michelle DeBartleben. By the time this video goes up, I will have commented on your previous comment announcing that you were the winner. But Michelle, if you will reach out to me at the email address listed in the description box and just let me know your mailing address, I will get this pattern and one of the project bags in the mail to you ASAP, so you can start working on this project too. And just as a refresher, here are the 3 project bags that I had showed off on my last video. So the first is this one, which has a vintage kind of lingerie and makeup pattern. The next is this one, which is all peacock feathers. And lastly, this one, which is these really cool, like new age kind of hands. So those are the 3 project bags. I'm just gonna pick one at random. I gave away the other 2 plus 2 patterns on my floss tube videos, on my last floss tube video, so you can go check out that video for those winners. Alrighty, next I want to go over my works in progress, what I was able to work on this past month. You can kind of see my progress back here on this quilt. So we'll start with that one. So this quilt back here is the Embroidery Flower Quilt by Tilda of Tilda's World, and this is a free pattern on her website. So I will link this down below. And this quilt is entirely done in 2-inch squares, including the background. The background's in squares as well. And last time you saw this, I had these top 3 done. You can't see the third one there. I had these top 3 done and stitched. I had this one done and stitched, and then this one was in pieces. So I have finished this middle section. And in fact, you can even see it all right now because I have another project sitting kind of on top of it. But I will bring you in for a close-up and show you a video of everything. You can see the progress up close. But officially, since this is the middle section and there's 9 sections total, with 5 sections done, I'm more than halfway there. I've got the section that goes here, section 6, is on my opposite design wall over here, and it's still in pieces. I haven't put it together, but I'll bring you in for a close-up of that as well. And it's coming along. I mean, each section is pretty large, and it takes, I think I mentioned this before, but it takes like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 hours to completely assemble one thing, because you do, well, this is my method. I do one row and then iron the seams going whichever direction they need to go. Then I do the following row and iron the seams going the opposite direction. And then I stitch those 2 rows together. So I have a bunch of units that are 2 rows wide, all the way down. And then I'll start stitching those pieces together. And so that's time consuming, getting all those seams done and put together and ironed the right way. And then of course, as the sections get bigger, obviously it comes together a little bit faster. So it's for each section is 14 squares across the top or horizontally, and then 18 squares vertically. So 14 by 18, whatever math that is, that's how many squares are in one section. And then there's 9 sections total. Next, I did a couple of additional blocks for my color palette quilt, which you have heard me talk about a couple times now. I'm just kind of working on it just whenever the fancy strikes, kind of between other things. And so I did 3 more for my quilt, and so I'm gonna show you the ones that I completed. So first is this one here. So this is a really fun print. It's like a tattooy punk print that's really cute and pretty, that's done entirely in this color palette with like the pink and gray and black and cream. And so I used it for my block here. This next one's really pretty and fun. It's a K facet fabric that I used on the side. So it's this beautiful giant floral print that has these bright warm like sherbet kind of colors. So that's my next one. And then here is the last one that I added. This is just a fun little like kind of paisley looking floral print with some bright pretty colors on there. So I pulled that one too. Now I've had requests for like the dimensions of these blocks for the pattern that I'm making up as I go along, basically. So I don't have like an official document to show you, but I'll kind of like go through everything. So the full size of this block right now is 12.5 by 12.5. So it'll be 12 by 12 finished. This piece here with the prints in it, I cut at 12.5 by 7. And then once it's stitched, once I lose the 1/4 inch seam allowance on this side and on this side, it's 12.5 or 12 by 6.5. So, but the cutting instruction is you cut it at 12.5 by 7. And then all of the little color palette pieces, I cut at 2.5 by 5.5. Right? So 2.5 this way by 5.5 this way. So when it's finished, it'll measure 2 by 5. And there's 5 of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then for the white part, I just cut from a white bolt of fabric a 1-inch cut by width of fabric, and then I chain piece all of these pieces on. So when it's finished, the borders between all the things are half an inch, because or roughly half an inch. I mean, honestly, I think I sew with a scant 1/4 inch seam allowance, so this is probably a little bit more than half an inch. But the cutting instruction is you cut strips of white fabric at 1 inch wide, and then you lose half an inch ideally in your seam allowance. And then when it's all done, I trim this down to remove kind of the rough edges, and then it's 12.5 by 12.5. And I've kind of decided that how I want to finish this quilt is on point, with all my blocks on the diagonal on point like this. And there's a layout that I like that I'm borrowing from a quilt designed for Quilty magazine. It's one that actually my mother has done before, so I will insert a picture of what that quilt looks like here. But in that quilt, there's 25 blocks in the layout. So that's what I'm aiming for with these. However, I could potentially make it bigger if I want to make more color palette blocks. I definitely pulled more potential fabrics for different blocks. I have it over here on the side. It's kind of actually overflowing. So we'll see what happens. I may make 2 of these things. I don't know. But I'm really enjoying it. I'm having a great time. Okay, I also have a new start to share with you, which you can kind of sort of see. You may notice this sneaky fabric poking in here. So it's kind of overlapping a current project because my design wall is not actually that big. But I started my Oracle quilt that I was telling you about, that I showed you the kind of rough sketch design for last time. I actually went through into PowerPoint and cleaned up that sketch so that it looks a little bit more presentable to show you now. So here's the design I came up with for my Oracle quilts. The fabric line is called Oracle. It's by Candy Quilts from Andover Fabrics. And this is what I've got. So these are going to be the little tarot cards. These squares are going to be the additional fabrics in that line, and then these strips on the side are this stripy fabric right there. And as of right now, I have completed this line right here, this dividing line here. I've completed everything up here. So that's what, like 2/5 of the quilt, maybe, right there. And then I just have this part to do. And I did that whole section in like 3 days, in like 3 different hour and a half sessions of working on it. So it came together really fast. Honestly, it probably wasn't even an hour or an hour and a half. It was just because I did it before work. It was so fast. So I'm going to bring you in for a close-up so you can see all of the blocks and the fabrics up close in the layout that I've created. So the next section that I'm gonna work on, because I mean, it's hard to tell because this isn't black and white, but the quilt is kind of divided into 3 big chunks. So there's this one that I've completed, and then there's this one that goes down on the side over here. It's the smaller of the bottom section, and then everything else over here. So the next part of the quilt that I'm gonna work on is this smaller section, and then we'll finish up with this one because this one's a little bit more complex. It's got Y seams in it. It has like 2, but it's just in order to get all the sections cut and assembled together, I kind of have to do some creative stitching. Lastly, I just want to go over some haul. I did get a little bit of haul before the end of the month because my local quilt shop had a stellar sale recently. So first I went ahead and purchased the backing fabric for my Oracle quilt, and I went ahead and got this print, which is like one of the big main prints in the line. Actually, it's upside down. Whoops. There we go. It's going crazy for a second. So let me show you kind of the motif. This is just like a collaged print that has all the different motifs in the line, including all the different designs that are on the tarot cards. So we've got the big star. We've got the ladies holding up the irons that are steaming, all the butterflies. There's the lion, there's the horse, there's the irons back here, there's the hand holding the needle, all this different stuff. There's this young lady, I'm assuming it's a lady, holding, I shouldn't assume this person's gender. They are holding a rotary cutter. There's the skeleton hand holding the seam ripper, and then the little pin cushion, just all of them. This is probably one of my favorite prints in the line. So I went ahead and got 4 yards of this to be the backing of my Oracle quilt. And then my quilt shop started carrying a line called Dark Forest by Studio E Fabrics that also comes with a panel. So I purchased the panel, which is this here. Oops. And I got all of the fabric line that goes with it. So let me show you the panel. The picture just doesn't do it justice. And I don't currently have a pattern in mind for this. I may very well end up designing another one myself like I did for Oracle, but we shall see. So here's the top of the panel. It's got this beautiful forest theme with little mushrooms and ferns and greenery with the moths, and then the moon phases over a night sky. And it's all this beautiful, like, foresty colored green and brown with just, you'll see around the border there's just the slightest touch of purple as an accent color. So you can't get the whole thing in, but then here at the bottom, there's these, I'm not tall enough for this. There's these other little mini pictures that show the same stuff, just moths and ferns and mushrooms and the moon. And then also they've got those beautiful, I think those are morning glories, which doesn't make sense why they're open at nighttime. They look like morning glories, but they're also like a cousin of the morning glory called a moonflower. I actually used to grow them. If I have a picture of them, if I still have a picture of it, I'll insert it here. But I did grow moonflowers, and they only bloom at nighttime, believe it or not. And they're giant white, like hand-sized white flowers. And so I'm just going to imagine that these flowers are moonflowers. So here is the fabric line that I got to go with the panel. First is this print here, and I got 2 yards of this. This is the different moths and the different greenery on black fabric. Very pretty. And then I got 2 yards of this. This is the different moths and the different greenery on black fabric. Very pretty. And then I got 2 yards of this. This is the different moths and the different greenery on black fabric. Very pretty. And then I got 2 yards of this. This is the different moths and the different greenery on black fabric. Very pretty. Then I got a yard of this, which is a green mushroom print. I love anything with a mushroom on it. I don't know why. I love mushrooms. I mean, they're even in my tattoo. Like, mushrooms are my thing. I like to look at them. I like to eat them. I love mushrooms. Mushrooms are an underrated vegetable. That's what I think. And then, side note, then I also got this print, which is just moths. I got a yard of this, and that's on black. And then here is I got a yard of this. This is the Morning Glory Moonflower print. And then this also comes with, it's kind of folded up in here, but I got a yard of this other fabric too, which is a coordinating stripe with that fabric. So, like I said, I don't really know what I'm going to do with it yet, but I kind of decided that because there's really no like good blender with this line, I went ahead and got an additional yard of this purple. Let me get the sticker off. Nobody cares about a sticker, but I got this kind of like grungy purple that matches perfectly with the purple in the border of the panel and the striped fabric. So this purple will go perfectly with it. And then I had one more yard to fill out the sail. So I also got this gold polka dot from Ruby Star Society. I just got it for my stash. I don't really have anything truly in mind for it. I do have a quilt in the works that's off to the side here that's got this kind of mustard color and navy and cream and gold as the color palette. So I kind of thought, well, you know, I could use it for that. But this is one of my favorite colors just in general. Like purple's my favorite color, but it's followed very closely by gold and yellow. So I just kind of wanted to add this to my stash. And then I got a handful of fat quarters that I would just want to show you very quickly because they're too beautiful not to. So I got these 3 fat quarters from, what is this? From Wyndham Fabrics. This is from a line called Deep Forest. I'll show you these up close. So these are kind of like a watercolory design of different mushrooms. What did I just say about mushrooms? I love mushrooms. So I got all of this line, and it's got a little gecko or salamander and a little frog, snail featured on there. And then I got that same print, this one, in this colorway. So it's hard to tell, but this is actually like a very light pale pink. It's not white, it's not fully white, but it's the same print. Also, little frog, little snail, little lizard, mushrooms galore, love it. And then this one, which is similar, features the deer. There's this little frog, of course he's on some mushrooms. There's hummingbird, and then, oh, here, and little moths. Various forest creatures. So this line was really pretty. I kind of course I saw it and I fell in love with it because it's very like whimsical and mysterious and nighttime and right up my alley. And then lastly, from Ruby Star Society, which you know I go weak in the knees for, Melody Miller, who is one of my favorite Ruby Star Society designers, has this line that just came out that I kind of went gaga over. I don't know the name of the line off the top of my head, but I'll insert it here. Yeah, I don't know what it is off the top of my head, and it's not on, I don't see it on the selvages. I'll insert it and put it in the description box. But Melody Miller, who also designed Rise and the Stay Gold panel quilt, the one I just did. Love her. She came out with this line here, which is these beautiful like turquoise teal colors. And what do you know? A mushroom. Several actually. So there's this print, which has these cute little mushrooms. This print, which also has mushrooms on it. These kind of look like oyster mushrooms. And it's got a metallic shine to it. They kind of look like clouds too. And then this one, which is just like these dots in a quatrefoil pattern. And they are metallic. And then this one's really cute because it's these little cocktails. I'm calling them cocktails. We don't know if there's alcohol in it, but there probably is. So they're just in their cute little cocktail glasses. Nice little fruity drink, very refreshing. And then this one I really like. It's decanters and wine glasses and cups, which are also metallic. This one I really enjoy. It's very fancy. And then lastly is this print here, which is this beautiful floral print that matches everything else. And of course has some metallic on it. So obviously I'm a sucker for anything with a mushroom on it, but I'm also a sucker for anything with a metallic on it. I just kind of drool over it. And I make no apologies for that. Okay, almost done, guys. I also acquired 2 patterns that I wanted to share with you. Both of these patterns are free because they both came from tildasworld.com. And so of course I will link her website and then the free patterns down below. But I just wanted to share them with you because they're really precious and really cute. And I kind of wish more people knew about Tilda's World. Also, I'm really surprised that these patterns are free. Like, she should be charging money for this. I'm glad she's not, but I would pay money for these patterns. This now makes 3 of her free patterns in my stash that I'm excited to complete. So let me show them to you. I printed the patterns while I was at work, and at work I only have a black and white printer, so I'm going to insert pictures of what the patterns are supposed to look like. So this first pattern is called the dressing gown quilt, and she has it on a lot of her quilts she has on her website twice, because she obviously designs them with her fabric in mind. So this one is the dressing gown quilt in pink and green. She also has a blue and yellow version. I will not be using her fabric. At least I don't have any plans to use her fabric at this time. So it's whatever colors I want them to be. But this is the dressing gown quilt here. And it's very, to me, I feel like there's an Asian inspiration behind it. The fabric I think that she uses is really more reminiscent of like vintage wallpaper, but I think it has like an underlying kind of Asian vibe to it. And the reason why I got it is because a while ago I had started collecting Asian inspired prints of fabric, intending to make a quilt with it, which I just never did. And then I thought, well, this could be a good option for all that fabric that I have and never did anything with. Because these almost, I mean, they're dressing gowns, but they almost look like kimonos as well. So I think with a more Asian fabric line, it could lean that way. And that I think is really cute. So that's the first pattern I got from her. And this next one I'm really excited about too. It's so stinking cute. It's called Cocktail Hour Quilt. I downloaded the blue and yellow or blue and mustard version, but like I said, you can do it in whatever colors you want. But I like it because of all these little girls on there. And now in her quilt, the skin tone on the girls is all one color. But I think what I'm gonna do is switch up their skin tones. And I don't know if I'm gonna keep the kind of cotton candy colors of the hair, like they have designed in the quilt, because I mean I like the hair colors, but they kind of match more of her fabric line. So depending on what kind of fabric I use with this, I might switch up the hair too. And I don't know about keeping the big pink cheeks. Those have to be appliqued on. And I'm not an applicator. What I might do is use Steam-A-Seam, which is like a double-sided fusible adhesive that I've used before on my different collage quilts. So I might still cut out cheek circles and then just put them on with that, and then have the quilting kind of be what attaches it down, as opposed to appliquing, because hand sewing is not my jam unless I'm cross stitching. And then yeah, I just think it would be easier that way. So I might cheat it that way if I do end up doing the cheek circles. But this one I just think is super cute because I love all the girls and I love their little space bun hair. They look like little teeny tiny Princess Leia's. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna use, but I could not pass up on these two patterns. And once again, they are free. So if you like them, run to tildasworld.com and download them. She's also got a ton of other ones, like a ton of other ones. And she also, one of the good things about her free patterns is she has their level of difficulty listed below them. So there's 3 red circles. 1 red circle is easy, 2 red circles is like an intermediate level, and then 3 red circles is challenging. So if you are a newer quilter, or if you want to maybe work on increasing your skills, you can check out the different difficulty levels and see which one you might want to try for free. Okay, that's everything, I think. Yeah, that's everything. So like I said, I am moving in a couple weeks, in 3 weeks, I guess. And so I'm not sure how much progress I'm gonna be making on my whips for the next month because I gotta start packing. So not only is my free time gonna be dwindled down, but all this stuff needs to go into my containers that I'm gonna be traveling with. So I will try and do some stuff, but next month's update might be a modest one, we'll say. But I will be in my new sewing space, so if nothing else, I can give you a tour of my new setup for next month. Because since I am downsizing, I'm going from a 2-bedroom townhome to a 1-bedroom apartment. What I'm doing is sacrificing my living room because I don't really entertain. I don't like having people in my space. I am sacrificing my living room and getting rid of like my couch and my coffee table and all that. And that is going to be a sewing studio in the living room. So, I mean, you can tell where my priorities lie, and it's not with entertaining people. It's just with sewing and stitching. So whenever I get to my new place at the end of August and I get everything set up, I may be giving you guys a tour of that. Okay. Once again, congratulations to our giveaway winner, Michelle. Reach out to me, Michelle, via email, and I will get your gift in the mail to you. And then next month, I will see you guys in my new place. We're almost to back to school season. Summer is slipping away from us, but enjoy what you have left of it. I hope you get a lot of crafting done, a lot of sewing done, a lot of stitching done, and enjoy your projects. And I will see you guys next month in the new place. Bye.